For joining us on World Now. Well, after months of speculation, July 4th has now been announced as date for the election. What is the mood following this announcement?
I think obviously there has always been this sense of anticipation. I have met with friends and colleagues from both sides of the divide and other parties, but from the Conservatives and Labour. And obviously there is a greater sense within the Labour Party because the polls speak to their favour at the moment, giving them up to 43%, as you rightly alluded, and Labour, something as low as 23%. So that there is, and Conservatives 23%. So there is a sense within Labour that when I meet with members of Parliament, there's a readiness for government. Conservatives are being strong and bullish about the future, but the polls sometimes could get it wrong. But there is, following the local elections, we saw that it really didn't turn to the favour of the Conservatives. Labour amassed quite a number of seats, so that there is that notion and a nuance that could repeat itself at any general election. I suppose the Prime Minister calling it at this point in time, with what we know to be a very positive uplift with inflation, there is a hope within the Conservative Party that low unemployment, a sense of wages where the wages seem to be quite well balanced, energy bills are being balanced out, food, even though the issues around food prices are still a concern, but food prices are being balanced out. There is a sense that maybe the electorate might consider giving Rishi Sunak another opportunity. I've sat with Keir Starmer before. I've been I was in some other conferences. He feels very confident that they will win the election, but nonetheless, nobody can take this for granted. It's up to the people to step out and vote who they choose to.
And I'm glad you brought up the issue of the poll, because I was going to talk about the fact that Labour Party, appears to be leading the polls now. But then, of course, the Conservatives are seeking to win a fifth, consecutive term in office. But based on precedent, really, do opinion polls translate to election outcome?
Quite often, they do. On the balance, I'll give it 70-30, or sometimes 60-40. But yes, the polls also have a way of influencing the electorate, which is really strange, because sometimes the electorate respond to the polls. What we have to, and the polls don't capture everybody. Let me speak here in the context of, since we're speaking to an international Nigerian station. A big concern, swing votes can happen where the Black minority ethnic communities step up and step out to vote. My experience when I was running for mayor was that many people within the Black minority ethnic communities don't trust they don't trust the political system. They're not confident. And so what you might end up having is, if the electorate actually stepped out to vote, you would get a totally different result from what the polls say. But the polls already anticipate that certain people will not even step out to vote. And now they've got a new policy that says you've got to go with a picture ID in order to vote, which is not and it defines like your driving license or your passport. And those kind of new policies that has been put in situ will discourage certain people from voting and disqualify others who may show up to vote. So I think whilst the polls are very important, it's really the people, but the people need to recognize how important their vote is. And all too often, that's not the case.
All right. And this election will be fought on new boundaries. How is that likely to impact its outcome?
Okay, so now the new boundaries that have been set is obviously to some people it's favorable, to others it might be a challenge. Depends on what the old boundaries were and who which was the dominant party at that time within those former boundaries. I think that you would find that I know of some boundaries where Labour are quite excited about it. Others, obviously the other parties like the Lib Dems and Independents that are hoping that it would turn in their favour. But I think when it comes to the new boundaries that are being set up, it's all to play for. But I think it's really whether you've got boots on the ground. It's really down to boots on the ground. You've got to activate the party members need to go into focused tactical areas where they need to shift the electorate and make them realize they need to come out on the day. It's one thing to knock on the doors, even within the new boundaries, but it's another thing to make sure you phone them up or you send them messages in their homes to get them out on the day of the elections. No matter how much campaigning happens, even within the boundaries, not everybody steps out when they say they would. The day of the elections is the big day, and that's what we've got to encourage people to step out to do.
All right.
And dare I say, those listening to the program, I hope, who have the opportunity to influence the directions in their community, I hope they get out and vote.
All right, very important call to action there. It's been great speaking with you, former mayoral candidate in the UK, Nims Obunge. Thank you so much for talking to us on World Now.
My absolute privilege. Thank you.